Ases do volante.
Good morning, good afternoon, why not good evening? Here we are again. We are
Ases do volante.
here in our virtual rally car. We've got driver. That man is Arman, the specialist. Directly from Lisbon is.
João Barata, here I am.
Hello, Joao. How are you doing?
I'm good, very good. And you, over that side?
Very good. Having a stormy weather, but
Oh,
it is good. And saying hello over here, Buenos Aires. Here I am. I'm Diego, eco driver, and just a curious guy. And what bring us here today? What have we got in luggage?
well, we brought Formula E with Puebla Iprixis. There were two races, round 8 and round 9. Well, we have some things to talk about that this weekend. Some good races, I think. Maybe not the best ones, but good, entertaining, and sometimes even, how do you say, they were not very well accepted, the results, with some strange penalties, or one could say. And yeah, in a new track for the championship, I don't think it's nothing special. I don't know, what did you think of the circuit?
We were speaking during the race. It was very strange to see that track included that layout forming part of an oval circuit. It is a usual NASCAR Peak Series, the old Mexico Series track. Essentially, is a NASCAR track. It was very strange to abandon Hermanos Rodriguez circuit to go there. Very strange, and I don't know. I didn't like the track that day. I mean, race day. You told me about the asphalt. Then, when you told me, I noted that it was very rusty. It was very, I don't know, like old, broken. I think it had been very difficult to drive over that surface.
Yeah, yeah. I also believe that, and then I also agree that it's strange to switch from Hermano Rodriguez to this track. It doesn't make much sense. At least even the infrastructure, it seems not so good. So yeah, I don't know why they did it. And I also I can say that I will have two big critics in this chapter, and I will start with the first, that I think it's not good for the championship. Or this one is like, there are two reasons for this. The attack mode, they did it as a Joker lap, as you saw.
Yeah. Yes.
But I think, in my opinion, they shouldn't have done it like Joker lap plus the sensors on the outside. They would just have to do the Joker lap, and that was the activation. Because I don't know if you paid attention, but some drivers, and I noticed because Antonio couldn't activate it in the first race.
I saw it.
And it was very strange because there were other guys that really missed it much more, but much more, and activated it. So I don't know how that works. That I know that it's with sensors, but it's really strange. And I think the Joker lap solution is good because, yeah, they just do a Joker lap and it activates. It's not like sensors. I don't know if the sensors are misplaced or not. But yeah, if they do a Joker lap, it's equal for everybody, and they lose that time, and everybody loses the same time. No games, because I also noticed the guys doing the TV coverage saying that many times the sensors are not where the TV coverage shows. So it's a little bit misleading for the fans also, which is not good. So, in conclusion, I think no sensors, Joker lap everywhere. Everyone who does the Joker lap gets the activation. Simply. It's simple and would be effective. And the other thing is, in the first race especially, and probably because it was the first time they were driving there, maybe 5 guys or 4 crashed into someone coming out of the attack mode zone. Did you notice that?
Yeah, yeah. It was very difficult to see the driver going in from the Joker zone, from the attack zone, from that strange turn, like an extra. I don't know how to say appendice in English.
Appendix.
Well, it wasn't like that in the track, and it was very difficult to see someone going in again from that zone, from attack zone to track. Yeah, we saw a lot of crashes, especially in the first race, as you said.
Yeah, Nick Cassidy, Verne, Sam Bird, at least crashed there. And yeah, I don't know if that was like the best solution to have two cars coming together in that zone, but maybe it was really just like newborn issue because in the second race it didn't happen. But yeah, I think they should maybe try to put it in a place where you don't have like cars coming out of a corner and going like the trajectory is going like straight into the other guys coming out of attack mode. That's just accidents waiting to happen. But yeah, moving forward, we had a good race. We had some good overtakes, some good fights. Usually that happens in Formula E. But maybe another major point and very controversial in this race was that Pascal Wehrlein led all the way from straight to finish,
Yes.
but was disqualified of the race, leaving the victory to Lucas Di Grassi from Audi. And interestingly, René Rast was second, so 1-2 for Audi. Do you know why Pascal was penalized?
No, in fact, asked you that day, and you told me this was the moment where you were going to tell me about that. So I am waiting.
Okay, so we will have a fresh opinion. I will just say it, and then you will give your opinion.
Okay.
So they have 3 sets of tires, and they have to, prior to the race, they have to insert like the code from the set of tires they use into a program and send it to race directors or something like that, so it's registered. And what happened is that they write all that form, how do you say, that paper that they have to write with the tires and their definitions and specifications, identification, everything, but they didn't press send. So that was it. They didn't press send. Pascal Wehrlein didn't gain any advantage with that. They just didn't identify the set of tires from the tree, and the result was that he was disqualified.
Disqualified for that, sorry. Do you remember a few races ago this season? Something very similar happened to
Van Dorn.
Stoffel Van Dorn.
Yeah.
There was a misintroduction in the tire codes, and he was penalized for that. And our opinion that day was that it was the penalty must be for the team and not for the driver.
Exactly.
That is the opinion that I've got today. I've got the same.
Of course.
Pascal Wehrlein, he was not guilty of that. It was a data entry issue. So it is a little ridiculous. Sometimes Formula E penalized in a non-logical way, attending the rules and not adapting to racing issues.
Yeah, and it's, well, for a championship that wants to attract young people and be, how do you say, popular, I think these decisions don't do that very well. I think they do the opposite, because it's just technicality after technicality, and it's just not good. In fact, I know it's a little bit skipping ahead, but Wehrlein was penalized in the second race again for a stupid thing again, and with that he lost 2 positions or something like that. And well, if he had not had been given any penalty, he would have lived this weekend first in the championship, and he is 11th, I think.
It is so unfair, in fact. And other issue is that we are speaking all the time, we are discussing all the time about Formula E and the rules and the regulations, and even it is difficult to understand for us.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine for someone who is watching with curiosity this category about. Well, I think it's not good for someone who is trying to interest himself
Of course.
in Formula E. Mm.
But well, I don't have much to say about the race. We had some good overtakes. Mortara and René Rast did a good race. Antonio, Felix da Costa, and Van Dorn also. Those first group guys, I think Antonio was the one that started most close to the front, and it was only 11th. So many of them did a good race because they finished Antonio 6th, Van Dorn 7th, Mitch Evans 8th, so De Vries 9th, and they came from the back, which is usual in Formula E. And yeah, that's it. I think penalties, too much bureaucracy or technicalities. They should maybe find the teams, not the drivers that don't gain any advantage. Of course, if the driver gains an advantage in the track, he should be penalized. But like this, don't penalize them. Well, the attack mode issue, I also would like that to be more clear to the audience and to the public how that works. Aves do volante. And well, we moved to race 2. And in race 2 happened a thing that I got like sick. That happened again. That was in qualifying 1 or group 1. That they wait and wait and wait until the last second, and then it all goes to, well, they do it for nothing because then they can't do a good lap. They are overtaking each other. They are like in a race, it seems. And so yeah, qualifying group 1 is usually the most confused and where we see the worst results. And that has raised many questions, and even for me, I tried to understand the reasons for this, because it seems that is just stupid by part of the teams. But it's interesting because, in fact, and yeah, in this qualifying it happened again. The riders left with little time. They were so close, and then they had to even fight for position. And so I tried to talk with some people that have connections with some driver of Cascais. I don't know if you know him.
Oh, great. Direct line.
Yeah, and well, not gaining access to the backstage, but hearing from someone who has that access, I understood that the main reason why Group 1 is the most confusing and the most difficult is due to the dirt on the track. The circuit is not clean because we know that the track evolves over the weekend, and that in theory Group 4 has the track in better condition than Group 1. But the difference between Group 1 and Group 2 is gigantic, because since the first and second free practice take place with a short time difference, the track conditions remain relatively equal. But then from the second free practice to qualifying, there are 2 hours when there is no activity on the track. So that makes the track very dirty, and temperatures also differ. But yeah, the main point is the dirt on the track not being clean. Like, if the qualifying was just after the 2 practices, it was good, but you have that time. So this implies that the first car on the track in Group 1 has a huge disadvantage to the second car. And as such, nobody wants to be the first, as this is a considerable handicap. But even if someone decided they wanted to go first to avoid the fuss, as soon as the first car left, the others would follow, and the confusion would be the same because they just don't want to be the first. Then you have the option of doing 2 laps that could solve this problem, but that choice has to be well thought and depends on many things, because it depends on factors such as the temperature of the tires and the batteries, and also obviously to the time that is available in the session.
I would like to ask you about the factors that make the track make it not to be in the better condition for the quality. What happens? Perhaps wind, the rubber, the temperature. Do them change right after free practices?
Now it's like you have both free practices really close to each other, and then you have
Yes.
the track without cars like for 3 or 4 hours. So in that
Yes.
time, with wind and yeah, just wind or even just like because there are not no cars driving around, the circuit gets very dirty
Hmm.
and the
You mean
temperatures get colder. But the main factor is the track that gets much more dirty than when you have cars passing. It's
okay?
like
You mean
in
sorry? Do you mean dust? Do you mean sand? Do you mean
everything. It's everything. If you are probably in, imagine if you are in, they did that in Bahrain. Probably it would be an even bigger problem because there would be much sand in the track, and the first guy would be really in a not very good position. But well, even if you don't have sand, you have all the other things like you were saying, rubber that is like outside of the trajectory that maybe rolls to the trajectory and other things. And yeah, the first guy is the guy that will clean that off. It's like in rally cars that happens. No one wants to be the one opening the stage, right?
yes, that is the thing. Because it is the one that picks up all the stones, all the little stones. Yeah, and loses the most of time. That loses more time than the other guys. So in order not to be the first one in the first group, you can do everything, or you must do all not to be the first in the first one.
Yeah,
In
that
the
they
first
go
group.
like into survive mode. It's like for and it would even be it was interesting because the person that talked to me said something that I think it's true, because it's like for group one having 5 minutes, three or half an hour, it would be the same because they will all end up going to the track together and they will do the same thing over
Mm-hmm.
and over again.
Mm-hmm.
We can't forget that they are the top six of the championship, so they are all in a direct fight, and either you gain an advantage or you make your opponent not gain an advantage. So the difference between the lane from the first to the second is very significant, and is enough to see that from the second group this does not happen, and the third group, because the track has already been cleared by the cars of the first, and then they can go further apart. And as we know in motorsport, every detail counts. We often see not very good things in Group 1, like in qualifying, we saw René Rast come out first to the track and deliberately break the pace with a very simple purpose to
Mm-hmm.
to add the confusion and try that two or three direct opponents were not in a good position. It's interesting because if you notice this, we know that Group 1 was always the one that was the more difficult, but this chaos of the last minute thing is a recent thing. And do you know why?
You tell me why.
Because until I don't know if it was last year, but recent times between free practice and qualifying, there was the Jaguar E-Pace trophy,
I
and
remember.
so there was no problem with the track getting dirtier. Ta-da. So maybe should have or a support category to fill in that time, or they should maybe put the qualifying closer to the free practice. But yeah, they should do something because this is very well. It's not very interesting. I think it's happening almost every race.
Very interesting, Joao. While I was listening to you, I was thinking about rally. In the first stage of every race, the guy that opens the road is the first one in the championship.
Mm.
So it is logical. They are looking for equality among the drivers. Okay, you are the first one. You have the most positioned guy in the standings. So, well, you do this. In order not to be the first, sometimes a driver becomes second in a race if he knows the next track is very difficult for him. And I think in Formula E they are trying to do something similar. And even with the thing that not having another category running the same weekends, it is more notable. It makes the whole thing more difficult to the first group. Even a little unfair.
Yeah, because being the first group is already a disadvantage. If you add on top of that the 3 hours of track conditions without cars, it's like double or even triple disadvantage.
For sure, for sure. Well, that meant that this first group became in which positions for the race start?
Well, 24th, 22nd, 21st, 19th, 18th, and I think 15th.
Yeah,
Good.
horrible. And what about the second race in general? I mean,
Well, it was an interesting race again with some fights for positions, overtakes. It happened a curious thing in the mid part of the race where, as you know, the Magnussen of the Day award went to Lotterer, and in
yeah,
that
yes, you told me, but
yeah,
I didn't see the crash. We are being a little rude with Kevin Magnussen. We have to change the name of that trophy.
okay, I will think
There's
about it.
someone. I think there is someone who deserves his name on that the cup. This is.
Are you talking about Mazepin?
Oh no!
Okay.
You read my mind.
No, but yeah, and in that crash, Lotterer took out some of that publicity plastic, and then like 3 or 4 cars got stuck with it. I think Robin Franz. No, it was not Robin Franz, but it was an Envision. Yeah, it was Robin Franz, I think.
Hmm.
Got that in the car. Antonio also, and even made the brakes so hot that he couldn't almost brake because of that. It ruined this race. But yeah, it was a good race, and again Pascal Verlaine with a very strong performance, and also we have to say Eduardo Mortara, which was third in the first race. He started seventh, I think, or sixth, and yeah, he won fair and square. And poor Pascal finished second and was and received a penalty again and finished fourth with that. We saw a good weekend for Rocket Venturi, which is interesting, and also
Yeah,
some
we saw Susie Wolf up there
yeah
in the podium. Yeah.
yeah, and also some good performance in this race, especially by the two BMWs, finishing fifth and seventh. It was interesting to see that it was not a weekend for the usual suspects. Like
Hmm.
you didn't have Mercedes, DS, Jaguar in the podium or even in the top five. I think at least in the second race, not for sure, and in the first, I don't think so. Jaguar, Mercedes, and the ST Cheetah, which are, oh, in my opinion, and I think probably in yours too, like the three strongest cars. But
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
have
are
that.
the top team.
Yeah,
We saw the revenge of Audi. Mhm.
yeah.
They were back to the podium after a lot of races.
um,
In a, we can discuss if it was unfair or not. I mean, um, Pascal Verlaine, Pascal Jean-Car Vernet is another driver. I Pascal Verlaine penalty, but even counting on that, it was a very good result for Audi. Um, Even better thinking that it is its last season.
mhm,
uh, Like,
yeah,
do you
and
know if Apt will go on?
I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good question. Stay tuned for the next episode.
For the answer. Let's see next chapter.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, regarding the constructors championship, we are in an interesting position where the difference between the first classified and the fifth is 14 points. The first is Mercedes, and the fifth is Envision Virgin, and in between we have the ST Chira, Jaguar, and Audi. So 5 teams, 14 points difference. And in drivers, it's not the same, but it's almost the same thing, because between the first and the fifth there are 12 points. So yeah, and Mortara jumped to the first position.
To the lead? Wow.
Yeah, to the lead. Yeah, Mortara, and 10-point lead to Robin Frines or Frines. I don't know how to say it. I say Frines. Okay. Just to.
It's okay. I think this the way he himself pronounced it.
Pronounce, okay. And then 2 points down is Antonio, René Rast, and Mitch Evans. All the three of them with 60 points. So it's an open championship. We still a lot of races to go, and yeah, we know that these first guys usually are rotating a lot because of that qualifying system. Maybe in New York we will see that some other guys will go to the top 6, or at least there will be some changes there, because these ones will have some difficulties in qualifying. And yeah, the next race is in New York, also a double round weekend, and it's in July, so not far away from
in a
today.
few weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know you, but I cannot wait for next Apex.
Yeah, it's a really close championship, and I think it's going to be decided in the last weekend. I don't see this getting settled before.
Oh, that is great. Very well, it is an electric cars championship, and it is electricizing all us.
Okay. That's for sure.
Okay, Joao, it has been a very, very interesting and technical chapter of our podcast. And thanks to you.
Thank you. I thought that information about the qualifying group was really interesting when I listened to it. So I wanted to share.
Which is great. We all know now, thanks to you, a little bit more about quali and tracks and, well, I don't know, a little bit more.
No, and I finally I am much more relaxed, because previously I thought that all teams in qualifying Group 1 were stupid, and now I understand that I am the stupid one and they are not.
Well, in fact, you had an idea. I didn't even had one. I didn't even wondered why they were doing that. And well, it was great to hear you, and very interesting again.
Thank you. So we will see each other in the next episode.
We will see each other very soon, and we will be speaking surely about F1, MotoGP, and more stuff.
Yeah. Stay close and keep listening to us.
Keep on being there. Thanks a lot, and goodbye.
Goodbye. Ases do volante.